Hey there, Aquarius. Welcome to your reading for for April 2023 is what I meant to say. We are just going to jump right in here. In your current general energies, you have this card that says, there's a path you're meant to be on, trust. It says, learn when to say no, avoid clutter, slow down, and quiet the mind. So I definitely feel like quieting the mind would be a good idea right now. You have the Three of Swords. You know, it doesn't really surprise me here, Aquarius, is what I would say, because like every single person has had something about like needing to let something go. And this doesn't have to be a heartbreak, by the way, Aquarius. This could just be, you know, like something, like some sort of ending here. You have the Ten of Swords. It could be an ending in some area of your life, but it's actually probably providing clarity, and leading you in a new direction. I really, really feel this is a sign of the times. I've been talking about this a long time. We have Pluto and Aquarius. I'm going to keep talking about it because it's super important. I think people don't realize, Pluto has an elliptical orbit. So, for example, it spends like 12 years in Scorpio and it spends like 30 years in Taurus, for example, right? But right now it's heading out into Aquarius. So when it's in Capricorn, it's as close to the Earth as it can possibly be. When it's going into Aquarius, it's heading as far away from the Earth as it possibly can be. And obviously, we don't live 200 and whatever years. So, we don't get to enjoy the full range of Pluto, right? But what I would say is that it's significant to me because it is leaving Earth, basically, even though that's Chris's crappy astrology. That's not like accurate astrology. So, it's going very far away now. It's on its way out, even though, again, we'll all be dead by the time it gets all the way out there. So, don't get too excited. But what I would say here is that, I kind of feel like this is, one of those trigger points in the world, or just, energetically. And so that's like why we're all going through these significant changes. And I just dropped a card here while I was shuffling, so I want to see what it was. It was the Four of Swords. So you could be in a period of recovery or recovering from the Three of Swords and the Ten of Swords showing up here. But I really feel this is talking about a separation, just in general. And again, I'm not just getting love for you, Aquarius, because again, for a lot of us, I think some of us could be like leaving jobs, leaving businesses. And I don't think this is like has to be a scary thing, as I always say, but I think we're just kind of like meant to do more, or the universe is encouraging us to expand. I always say that I think a lot of people feel lost right now, but really I think what it is, and I could be wrong, so this is just kind of like a intuitive theory of mine, if you want to call it that, is I think there's a lot of empty space right now that needs to be filled with like our good ideas. If you notice, most ideas that we've been kind of like implementing into the world are just bad ideas, right? They don't work. I think of like I wanted to be a police officer when I grew up, and the reason I didn't become a police officer, and I still personally I like, I have nothing wrong with police officers, but what I would say is the reason I didn't become a police officer is because I started to see that laws are ridiculous. Like when you think about it, why do we need laws in the first place? It's like, I think we have laws because we don't have solutions, right? And, I feel that's the best way I can say what I am feeling here for you, Aquarius, is that I feel like what you are walking away from is like loss, and what you are heading towards is solutions in your life. And I know that's very general, but that's kind of what I'm feeling. I hope that makes sense, Aquarius, is I feel like you're heading towards bigger solutions. Part of that I feel has to do with you listening to your heart, probably. I think you kind of have these moments here. It's like you kind of get built up going just these three cards, it's like the way that I'm seeing this is that you get excited about something, you start to see things clearly, and actually you start to use your resources to make something happen. But it's almost like I see it going up and down, up and down. So for some of you, there's like something that you need to break through here. It could be like some limiting beliefs or some things that are holding you back. But again, I think you're going from laws to solutions. I hope that makes sense. You're creating more solutions in your life, basically. And I feel you could be breaking free from this Four of Pentacles, kind of like holding on too tightly to things that no longer serve you energy. And again, I think you're expanding into these empty spaces. Where I was going with that, which was, I didn't finish it, is that, again, I think these empty spaces are going to be filled with our good ideas, us people, just normal, everyday people. So if you have any great ideas that you think could change the world, that could fix things that are happening in the world or anything like that, I would start putting those ideas out there, because again, like I said, it's not going to be like the government or anything like that creates good ideas during Pluto and Aquarius. It's going to be you. So I would get moving on any crazy ideas that you have. Whatever they are. They could be inventions. They could be books you want to write. Could be anything. Could be a YouTube video. Do it. With the Three of Swords, you have this secrets card. Some of you could have gone through a breakup or a separation where there were secrets here in this situation. So, it is what it is. I almost feel like it's not worth talking about because we go down to the Eight of Cups. People always say to me, like, why don't you talk about exes and stuff like that? I'm like, I don't know, because of this right here. It's like, what's the point of talking about some past bozo, right? It's like, I think there's, like, much better stuff for you in the future. With the Page of Wands, I mean, it is coming up here, so I'm going to talk about it. Plus, we have Mercury retrograde this month. You have this influence card. So some of you, if you are walking away from a past relationship, it could have been influenced by other people or toxic people. I also feel like some of you, it's like maybe you left a relationship here. I'm getting Aquarius. There could have been secrets on either side. And maybe you feel like you were influenced in walking away from this person. I would say, especially if it was a Leo or a fire sign here or an earth sign. I feel like maybe some of you feel like you were influenced, but really I feel that this was actually kind of meant to be, regardless of what side you were on. And I feel like you're going in the right direction now. I also feel like, again, this whole breaking through that point where you normally kind of stop or give up here. I feel like it's saying, like, this could be because of influences. Like, maybe people tell you, your ideas are stupid, and then you come back down. But then you get excited about a new idea again, and you kind of get close, and then you start sharing your ideas, and you come back down. So it's like saying, don't share your ideas, right? Or protect your good ideas. I would also include protect any, positive relationships you enter into. With the Four of Pentacles, you have this discrimination card. This is not like discrimination like we think about it. It's a card of discernment, being able to tell what's right, what's wrong, what's going to be good for you in life. And I feel like some of you actually need to stop with that Four of Pentacles, because some of you might be... you might start a business and then you get really excited and then you think of all the ideas that it won't work. That's what I feel like this is saying. It's like saying, don't do that. Just like allow yourself to see how things are going to go. It's like there's going this way here. There's a much better flow in kind of like these directions. And I feel like those directions are saying, no assuming that something isn't going to work. Find out that if it's going to work or not. Next, in the area of the unexpected, you have this Hermit Crab card. It says resourcefulness, adaptability. You have the Queen of Pentacles, which is also the card of resourcefulness in the tarot. So I feel like you are very resourceful at this time. I do feel this is encouraging you to be resourceful. It's like the Queen of Pentacles, she's very focused on that pentacle that she has in her hand. She's not focused on this rabbit right here. And the rabbit kind of represents fears and anxiety. So she is more focused on what she has and not on what she doesn't have. But again, some of you might be trying to leave a situation. You might be trying to leave a job, but maybe you feel like you don't have the resources. But this is saying you actually do. But also sometimes I think, like with the Queen of Pentacles, it could be one of those things. Like maybe you have a job that you hate. You're trying to leave the job. You don't feel like you have the resources. Maybe you've been applying to jobs and you haven't been getting the jobs, right? Queen of Pentacles says, what's missing? She says, is there something that you haven't put on your resume? Is there something missing? Is there an experience that you have had that you could put on your resume that would make you more valuable, that could get you the job? So again, I always tell people, sometimes that tells me that there needs to be a little bit of double checking going on here. You might be missing something that's actually very valuable. So I would look into that. You do have the Ten of Swords. Some of you could feel that you were stabbed in the back in the past, or there just was like maybe a difficult ending going this way. And now I feel like you're walking away here with the Eight of Cups. So, I don't really see this as necessarily a bad thing. You have the Queen of Swords. Some of you could be understanding why you had to go through a difficult ending, whether this was love, money, spiritually, wherever, whatever. And what I would say here is that with the Queen of Swords, she's looking over at the Queen of Pentacles. And so it's almost like you are actually I feel like you're seeing the resource inside of something that you went through, And when we do that, that's when we become very successful in life. When we can look at the challenges that we went through and say, this is what I got from it, That's when you become very successful. And you have the Star, which is your card. This puts you in a position of power and strength and allows you to get what you want from the reading. But if we look here, you have the Star and the Sun, which is like fame and fortune. And you have this card that says great fortune on it here, Aquarius. So spoiler alert, I don't want to jump too far ahead here in this reading, but it looks like there could be some great fortunes, or your fortunes are changing in some way. With the Ten of Swords, you have this patience card. I feel like you need to be patient. Some of you could be waiting for blessings after a difficulty or like a difficult ending. The Ten of Swords, again, is like being stabbed in the back. So, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I feel like you've had a difficult ending and you're hoping for blessings, especially with this card here. And if we look, it's like, here are the blessings. So I feel like they're like right around the corner. Some of you, I do get like here as well. It's like maybe you broke up with a person, or maybe they broke up with you and they're already with a person. They're like looking happy. It's like sometimes the thing that triggers us. It's like they were a jerk to me. They cheated on me and now they're happy somewhere, right? And so we feel kind of cheated by the universe. And I feel like this is like the universe is basically saying, no, number one, you don't know what's going on behind closed doors and they cheated on you. So if you were dealing with a cheater, they're probably cheating on this person too. So that's like one thing. Number two, again, I think you just need to realize that there's some major blessings coming in here. With the Queen of Swords, you have this egotism card. Again, I feel like this is what you are seeing clearly. I think you are looking at things that you want to do, like I said at the beginning of the reading, that get you excited. I actually feel like you're removing your ego. We all have ego. I always say that, like, I can't stand when spiritual teachers talk about removing the ego and all this other stuff. First off, most spiritual teachers I've ever heard talk about ego have the biggest egos I've ever seen in my entire life. First. Second, we need an ego to survive as well. So, I think having a healthy ego is better than no ego. But what I would say is I feel like you're kind of like putting yourself in your place is what I get here. And, I don't think this isn't a criticism here, Aquarius. I think you're just, approaching things from the right place. I think you're not overestimating your abilities, but you're also not underestimating your abilities. I think things are kind of in this sweet spot now, and you can see it, which is, again, I think that's allowing you to be more successful. Again, when we see what we're not good at as well, I think we should focus on our strengths, but sometimes we have to, do something that we're not necessarily very strong at. And I feel like when we see that, we can fix it. We can learn something about it. With the Star, you have this control card. This reminds me of the World, so I kind of feel like there are some accomplishments finally coming in for you. I also feel that some of you could be attracting a Capricorn. That's only going to be for some of you. It popped into my head, so there you go. Next in the area of what you need to hear right now, you have this mature woman, and you have this great fortune card. So funny enough, Capricorn had the mature man card. Doesn't matter what gender you're interested in. Could be a Capricorn coming in for you if you want love. Could be any sign, general reading, but it definitely stands out to me. I also feel like you're becoming more mature. It's like I said, you're in the middle. I feel like you're in that sweet spot with pretty much everything. And this could be the thing that is creating great fortune in your life. And clearly, you have some very good cards here. You have the Sun, the Queen of Pentacles, and the Seven of Wands. The Sun, of course, being the best card in the tarot. I feel like there's a lot of joy, happiness, good things coming in for you. Just a feeling of freedom I get here as well. I also get a very childlike energy if we look at these two cards. The Sun, you can see he has this wall behind him, and that is the wall that we all put up against our inner child. So the Sun is a very good card, but it can represent needing to let our inner child kind of roam free, needing to be more childlike. The Six of Cups can represent the same thing. It can represent, there's this guard here. He's protecting these children inside this castle wall. And basically can say that, you could be trying to protect your inner child. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I also feel like this is saying embrace your inner child, like your creative, crazy ideas, being curious, like all those things I think could be profitable for you at this time. You have the Queen of Pentacles. Definitely tapping into your resources. Again, I keep telling people that, I mean, you think that those bank collapses are crazy. Yeah, you ain't seen nothing yet. Just wait. I think there's going to be way more than that over the next 10 years. And I'm not saying this to scare anyone, but just saying this so that people can be prepared. I don't think we're necessarily going to see the total collapse of the dollar or anything, but I think there's going to be some craziness. So just pay attention. But I do feel that the people who focus on resources are going to be the ones that are successful, like being resourceful, learning what resources you have, what you have to offer the world, and all that other stuff. Being able to do that is just going to make you very successful. And again, learning about money. I think that, everybody has, plenty of people have left comments about all this money stuff, screaming that the sky is falling. I'm like, okay, well, learn about it. Don't just when we learn about things, that's how we overcome fear. And so I'm not just sitting around waiting. I'd be learning all about this financial stuff, learning about all the solutions. People keep asking me, what's the best solution? I'm like, well, number one, you shouldn't listen to me because I failed math my entire life, right? So numbers, not good, right here between my 2 ears. But what I would say is I would just learn about everything. And, because you really kind of want to be a triple threat right now. And so, I think crypto, great to learn about if you want to learn about it, gold, silver, whatever, but I wouldn't, I think people who just think, kind of, fall into that tribalism of thinking like, oh, only gold or only silver or only crypto, that's where you can get stuck. So I'm not saying you have to have any of those things, but I would learn about it, right? Because knowledge is power. And the Seven of Wands, a card of commitment. So I feel like whatever you commit to, you can have. I also feel like you're kind of protecting your position at this time, just in life in general. So you could be getting to this like very fortunate place in your life. And I feel like this is saying that you could be kind of like protecting your fortunes. It might not be money. It might be other things that you feel fortunate to have. And the Seven of Wands is kind of like drawing boundaries. Again, sometimes I think that the reason we repeat our love stories, for example, is because we let another person in who crosses the same boundaries as the past person. So I feel that Seven of Wands is not only saying that you are leveling up, but I feel like it's encouraging you to look for bigger situations, if that makes sense. Every single person has had this card. With the Sun, you have the Revenge card. Again, every single person has had this card. We have Mars leaving Gemini today on the 25th. I'm doing this video. It'll be out tomorrow on the 26th. Doesn't matter. What I would say is that for like the first 2 weeks of April, I would ignore gossip, jealousy, anyone who stabbed you in the back. I would completely ignore them, even if they try to communicate with you, because again, Mars and Gemini. Yes, it's not in Gemini anymore when you're watching this video. Doesn't matter. It's like that, planets are massive. They're huge. They drag energy with them. So it's like, it doesn't matter that it's left Gemini. It's still dragging that Mars and Gemini energy behind it. And what I would say is I would just ignore it for at least, I would ignore it forever. But if you can't help yourself, I would ignore any gossip or jealousy or communication from past bozos until like the middle of the month. With the Queen of Pentacles, you have this resistance card. I think that we're all trying to overcome resistance, but what I would say is I would face resistance. One of my favorite books of all time, The War of Art, he says that when we are closest to our goal, that's when we experience the most resistance. So I feel like you could be very close to a goal, but I would keep pushing because I feel like there's success on the other side. With the Seven of Wands, you have this companionship card. I feel like this is the only thing you're willing to accept. Again, boundaries. I feel like you're only willing to accept someone in your life who is a true companion if you're attracting love. Next, for the good stuff, doesn't matter what shows up here, it's going to be good no matter what. You have this Y card, and you also have this divine timing. It says your angels are working behind the scenes. Things will come together at exactly the right time. What do you know? So I think things are kind of just falling into place for you here. And I want to stress that it's not falling into place. I like to try to get people to avoid the lottery mindset, which is thinking, a lot of people say they want to win the lottery, but really what you're saying is, and again, I'm not picking on anyone here, but what you're saying is the only way I can make this much money is if I get lucky by a very, 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 very small chance, right? But we do this in other areas of our life as well. It's like when we stay in a relationship that we know isn't right and we make sacrifices, we let the person walk all over us. We're living in that lottery mindset. We're saying, I will never find someone again. So I'm dealing with this, things that I don't like. I'm dealing with a person who crosses my boundaries because I'll never find that person again. You might not literally be saying that, but you are saying it with your actions. So I feel like what this card is saying is that, but again, this is not me lecturing you because I feel like you are doing these things. I feel like you are maybe looking at why you do those things and now you are changing it. By the way, I thought I had my watch on and I don't, but it's 10:10 right now. So 10:10 could be an important number for you, but I feel like you're kind of sticking up for yourself in the sense that you're drawing a line in the sand. You're saying, I'm not going to let someone, a person, place, thing, job, business, whatever. I'm not going to let these things cross these boundaries. This is what I'm demanding. So I almost feel like you have a list of demands from the universe, and because of that, things are turning around. You have the Six of Cups. We have a Mercury retrograde this month, so I'd be careful of anyone coming back from the past. I feel this is more talking about a turnaround. I always say that this card, to me, can represent a gift from the universe, and the gift we usually receive from the Six of Cups is a turnaround. Things moving forward, things moving in the right direction. So that's kind of what I feel for you, Aquarius, is that maybe you've been bumping up against obstacles, and now those obstacles are being removed. You have the Three of Cups here. Three of Cups, of course, is a celebration. So I feel like there is some sort of celebration or happiness coming in for you. It could be like a reunion in the sense that, for some of you, I literally feel you could actually be having a family reunion. And I think it'll be a great time. But I also feel for others that this could be you meeting a person from like a past life. You have the Eight of Cups, which is like walking away from things that no longer serve you and kind of really sticking up for yourself. I really get that feeling here, Aquarius. I think that's like maybe the best way I could verbalize this reading. It's almost like you're sticking up for yourself and sticking up for the things that you know you deserve. And when we do that, we get those things, right? With the Six of Cups, you have this impulsiveness card. I actually like this card. It can represent being impulsive, but this is kind of like a good one. You see this here, this horseshoe, it's like in the right direction. It's going up. So it represents luck. And, this card here is also Mars and Aries. And I do feel that for some of you, there could just be an Aries who's coming in for you if you want love. And I feel like it could be a very lucky, kind of like a lucky connection. This is the good stuff, so it's going to be good no matter what. It could be a little impulsive, right? Maybe the two of you are impulsive. Maybe you meet too quickly or something. But I don't know. I think it actually looks pretty good. With the Three of Cups, you have the Order card. Every single person has had this card as well. So, I think that things are starting to go in a different order. I think that's what's different for you. It's almost like maybe your relationships, for example, always have the same order. Maybe everything happens the same way. It's like, I think what will stand out to you if you're meeting a new person is this will go in very, very different. Same thing with like a business or whatever it is you're working on in life. It's like maybe normally you always work on something, get to a certain point and quit. I feel like this is saying you're going to push through that, like I said earlier in the reading, and that's what's going to lead to your great fortunes here. With the Eight of Cups, you have this Power card. I really feel you're just taking control of your life. You're, again, like I said, because you're no longer willing to accept things that are worth less, and you're only willing to accept things that are either at your level or better, then I feel like you are going to get those things. That's what that's basically saying. So let's see here, Aquarius. We're going to pull 5 main themes and see what we have. You have this Chair empty card. It says someone is leaving your life. Again, I feel there could have been a situation where there was a breakup. We talked about that at the beginning. You have this Hat card. It says you will be playing a different role. Again, some of you could be changing jobs, careers, your business, whatever. You have that Great Fortune card. It's like whatever you're walking away from and walking into, it is going to change your role in life. Things are going to be very different, but also very successful. You have the Sun and the Star. Amazing. You have this young woman card, dealings with relationships with a younger woman. You have this, I always clarify these people cards. You have this hammock. It says taking a vacation either physically or mentally. It doesn't matter what gender you are. I feel like this is saying that, going on a vacation, even if it's just like a staycation for you, Aquarius, I feel like it'll make you feel young again. And again, we had the 2 childlike energies in this reading. So I do feel like you need more playfulness, more fun. You have this Staff card. It says you will be taken care of in difficult times. Yes, like I said, I wouldn't be worrying about all the stuff that's going on. Worrying does nothing for you, but what I would be doing is learning about solutions. I would be learning about all the solutions and then find what resonates with you. Again, I think the problem with the world is that, like a lot of us, I think people want prescriptions for things. Why? I think it's because just how life works, right? So it's like people want an easy button, want an answer like, invest in this coin and you'll be a billionaire and you'll survive the next 10 years. I think what's more, again, knowledge is power over in experience as well is going to be power over not just the next 10 years, but the next 20 years. In all of Pluto and Aquarius, people keep telling me they're worried about AI. I'm like, okay, what's the one thing that can beat AI? Your own personal experience, plain and simple. So that's just one example, right? So I would be out there, I would be learning, having experiences. To have experiences, basically you learn something about something that you're passionate about, and then you put it into action. That's how you have more experiences. People always ask me, and I'm like, what are you interested in? I don't care if you're interested in squirrels, bamboo, I don't care if you're interested in tarot, learn about it, right? And then put it into action, see what happens. You never know. You have this Whale card. It says, great worry over nothing. Are you kidding me? That's just what I said. Stop worrying here, Aquarius. Things are going to be fine. I think the best thing for you to do is to take your active mind and to put it into something, whether that's through educating yourself, learning, putting something into practice, right? Could just be a hobby and you never know, a hobby could turn into a business. I literally read tarot for a living, basically. So, a hobby that turned into a business. It could be anything, but I would get moving here. Very interesting. Thank you for being here, Aquarius. Looks really good, and definitely enjoy your month.